Today's lesson is solving equations by multiplying or dividing decimals. We're gonna, the objectives are today to solve one-step decimal equations involving multiplication and one-step decimal equations involving division. So this is example 1 and 3 put together. It's the same idea as the lessons before when you just had a number and you multiplied or divided. Now we're adding decimals to it. So again, you do the opposite of what it's doing to the variable. So if you look at 0.9, it is multiplying to r, so we are going to do the opposite of multiplying, which is dividing by 0.9. Two ways you can do it. The first way is the normal division that we're used to doing. So we have our 5.4 divided by 0.9. Remember, the numerator goes inside of the dividing box. And then to divide a decimal, you have to move the decimal on the outside away. So I only needed to move the 0.1, the decimal, only one spot. So we're going to have to do the same thing inside. So now it's 954. So 9 divided into 54. And then you do your math. And that would be 6. But if you look, there's a negative on the 54, so you're going to say r is equal to 6. Another way to do it is you take your fraction right here and you say I need to move the decimal over one spot to make it a 9, and over here, so you would just say negative 54 over 9, and that would get you still 6. So B. 8/10 is multiplying to x, and so we need to divide it. So it's 0.8. Divided by 0.8 is 1. That's the reason why it's 1x, or just x. Again, you could divide this way, or you could just move the decimal over, and it will be 16 divided by 8, which is negative 2 because you have your negative on it. Alright, so C, you have 2.3x, so 2.3 is multiplying to x, so we're going to divide by it. We're going to move the decimal over, move the decimal. So now it's 11.5 divided by 23. 23 does not go into 11, but 23 goes into 115. I'm thinking maybe 5 times, yep. So it's 0.5. So x equals 0.5. That's a 0, not a 6. Alright, D. This time you have 7.2 is dividing into m. To get rid of negative 7.2, you're going to, because it's dividing, you're going to multiply by negative 7.2. I'm going to put it right underneath so I can multiply them right underneath each other. So I'm going to do 10, 4, 5, 2x, or 0, it doesn't matter to me, 35, 14, 17, 7, 8, 0, 10, 9, 10, 9. Now I need to know how many decimal places I need to make it over. I have 1 decimal place on the top and 1 decimal place on the bottom, so it will move over 2 times. And they're both negative, so that makes a positive. So m equals 90. All right. E. Negative 6.0 is dividing by r. Not by r, but r is divided by negative 6.0. So I'm going to multiply by negative 6. I can just make it negative 6. That's not a problem, because there's no 10th space really. So you go 6 times 5 is 30. 6 to 3. Okay, again I need to put my decimal in the correct spot. I have 1 spot over, so r equals, is it going to be negative or positive? Well, one's a positive and one's a negative, so it's going to be a negative 3. F. 4.5 is divided into t, so it's dividing, so we want to multiply it. So 4.5. That goes away. So I have 0, 40, 0, 32, 0, 0, 6, 3. I have only 1 decimal point, so it's right there. So it's 360 equals t. All right, next word problems, I think. All right, example 2 and 4, word problems. Petroleum. An oil field produces an average of 16.8 thousandths of tells me something, of crude oil per day. That tells me something too. How many days will it take to produce 200? So this is my full amount. Full amount. So I have that it's 16.8 thousand of, that's math, of is multiply, crude oil per day. I'm going to make it a D immediately. You do not need that multiplication. You can just make it 16.8 D equals my full amount, which is 200,000 barrels. So I've already made an equation. Now I'm going to find the answer. So it says about how many days, so you're going to have an about sign and make it a whole day, because we just want a full day. So 16.8 D equals 200. I'm going to divide by 16.8. It's multiplying today, so I want to divide it. And so if I divide it by longhand, it will be 2,168. So you do your math and you get 11.9. So we're going to round it up to about 12 days. You don't want to round it down. If we have, even if you have 11.3, if I only did 11 days, I still wouldn't get 200,000. So I would have to round it up to get what I needed. Okay, now there are some people who play baseball. Baseball has a lot of math in it. You wouldn't even think about it. But we're going to discuss Babe Ruth. He is a very famous baseball player back in the old days. in 1923 to be exact. Baseball season was one of Babe Ruth's best. He was at bat 522 times, so he went up in just 1 year. He went up 522 times. And his batting average was .393. Now, I have to say that is pretty good for a baseball player. Remember, they're being thrown really fast balls at this, trying to get hit without being caught out and stuff like that. So there's a lot of reasons if they hit, how it's considered a hit. This is round to the nearest thousands, so they've already done it to the nearest thousands. You're not going to have a full amount. The batting average formula is A equals hits average. That's your A is for average, equals hits out of the number of times at bat. So he was, remember, at bat 522 times. We don't know how many times he hit the ball. So we're going to do the math. We're going to substitute the numbers. He was at bat 522 times. So that's at the bottom. We don't know the how many hits he has, and his average is .393. So, how would I find out how many hits he had? So I'm going to multiply by 522 to find out. I'm going to bring it over here because I don't think I have enough space. So I have 6, 18, 6, 7, that's an 8. 6, 8, 7, 15, 45, 46, 15, 19, 6, and alright, so I had to add and put it to the side, so it's 205, 146, and I have how many placements of decimals? 3, so I have to put it in, so it's 205.146. Okay, again, nobody can hit partial of a ball, so it's going to be 205, about 205 hits that he hit during his time. All right, goodbye.